What is up, guys? Noli here, and welcome to the brand new style of Road to Ranked. So basically, instead of it being just following me, I'm going to do it like more of a shoutcast. As you can see, I'm on Odin again on red team, but it's not going to be the same as last episode because we're not just going to be following me on my own. What I'm trying to do is teach you guys the games through watching all the enemy teams. So let's look at the starts right here. So, for the red team, it's pretty standard. We start off going to the speed buff on our left-hand side of the map. So that's over here. And just before I do that, I actually stand at this point because Odin's passive allows me to see the area just around here, and I can basically tell who the enemies are going in which positions. On the enemy team, we've got Bastet, Hercules, Anahur, Athena, and Hebo in mid. On my team, we have Ra, Odin, I am of course playing Odin, Agni, Sun Wukong, and Apollo. As you can see, the support tank and range ADC alongside the mid go to this right hand side mid camp, or left hand side from this side of the map, and the ADCs on the opposite side of the map do their blue together. So both mid camps are completely taken up at the start of the game, which obviously starts 10 seconds in. And the majority of the camps, all but one of the main camps, are also taken. So you'll notice me and Ra slowly getting our way through the orange buff and then moving on to the blue buff. At the same time, the Bastet alongside the Herc, Bastet solos the red camp and then moves alongside Herc to do the blue camp. She did, however, bring potions instead of the damage potion, health and mana potions, I should say. Now, Ra didn't have a Hand of the Gods, so our blue is slightly slower. Our side would normally be faster at getting here, but because of that, we get here around about the same time. But I call enemy missing left. Basically, I realize Bastet has gone missing. What's Bastet doing? She's doing the back camp. This is going to allow me, as the jungler, to have an early rotation. Not into where I thought Bastet might be, but actually into the mid lane when I notice Hebo's positioning is aggressive. They're around about the same health, but Hebo has pushed an entire creep wave into the tower. Because of that, I know how confident he is, and I'm able to turn the tide very easily with a lunge, Gunyar's Smite, and a couple of basic attacks, handing that kill to Agni and allowing him back into the game. From there, I will help him to clear a wave, while Bastet is hanging out over here, doing the second side camp. What is this doing to Bastet? Well, it's keeping her farm up with me, but she's not assisting her gods. My Hand of the Gods is about to come up here, and I notice next to my passive, this orange buff is up. If we have a look at the duo lanes, they are just harassing each other, but it's important that our team is being further harassed than their team as for what happens next. Bastet actually hears me taking her orange buff, jumps in, and I Hand the Gods it before she can do anything else. At which point she thinks she can trade with Odin. She is gravely mistaken as a lunge lands on her, taking her out alongside the rest of my mana. Moving on over to the left-hand side of the map, the duo lane on the enemy blue team have just pushed up. Athena has used her dash. I am aware of this. I noticed Anahur using his Impale on the support tank and go in, slowing both of them and allowing me to quickly take it out with the stun from 72 transformations. At this point, Apollo makes a mistake. He should have followed up with us and kept basic attacking Athena. Instead, we're both left in a bit of an uncomfortable position because we don't want to tank creeps, but killing Athena seems pretty impossible. Bastet rotates in, and I have to stop backing where I am and retreat further. Moving on to the mid game, both of the mid camps were not taken up because the junglers were in the middle of a fight, and Hebo takes up the left hand side mid camps, hitting level 5 and backing off to spawn. As Agni runs along, I believe he's level 4. So Hebo is basically bullying Agni in lane. There is a right side mid camp. On the solo lane, Ra with his heal and push abilities is really able to ruin Hercules' clear, make it extremely hard for him to stay in the game. So, moving over, we have an Agni ganking the duo lane. What he's doing here is basically forcing Bastet back. What he should be doing is actually holding his mid, and I'm forced to hold his mid against The Hebo, which is not the easiest task for an Odin, is clear at level 6. With the build that I tend to structure is not really high enough, but bear in mind his passive protections are going to allow him to basically take no damage. Zooming back on over here, there's a small little scuffle. Neither of the duo lanes on the enemy blue team actually have their ultimates, so realizing this and realizing that Athena's ultimate is all about her ability to pressurize, I believe, try and fight the Hebo. But Athena, as you see, dings level 5 in the bottom corner, going in slow motion. Hebo is getting mitigated, and I realize I am out of mana and out of position. Agni comes in late with the stun, does not have the damage to finish off Hebo, and dies himself. He was calling gank throughout that, but because of Athena's absence, we were able to pick up an her for free, I believe. Yeah, just land a basic there. So that was a comfortable trade for them. But well played on our part to actually pull that back and take out the her. An ADC for a mid and a jungler is easily a good trade for blue. And we're taking a lot of tower hits from Bastet, but head damage is not good enough. And Sun Wukong does rotate in. He's heavily pinged, and I believe they must have been warding. Yeah, I definitely felt like they were warding during this game. Sun Wukong is an absolutely fantastic support tank because he can harass both of... Oh, bad things happening in mid. He can harass both the junglers and the mids. Bastet is an easy kill, 3v1. Hebo is unable to get involved, and I think he'll just be poked away. As they should settle on the left side mid camps. No, I would have advised going for the aggressive position and taking the mid camps. I was dead during this part. Where am I? Oh, I'm here. I believe I just helped Ra with his blue buff, and now I'm just going to help clear this wave. Yeah, this is just free harass and poke. I like to share the love out across the lanes whenever possible. You can see Agni's being pushed back. He's 2 levels behind Hebo, and Hebo is using this advantage. Hebo also has extremely fast mid-camp clear, and Agni cannot contest that. I'm going to rotate in here and take the right side mid-camps. I'm not sure whether I should call them right side. It's obviously right side from this angle, but I've been calling them basically the angle of my team. Agni is going to find himself out of place with Athena here, but his CC immune dash plus the stun is going to allow him an easy retreat. The enemy team is going to continue forward. This is, in my opinion, a slight mistake on their part. Awful play all around. Agni misses his Aegis, but Hebo misses an ult by an absolute mile. Athena, her defender Olympus comes in and takes out Agni. But from this position, my ultimate's going to keep them in. An easy kill for Sun Wukong off his Cloud, followed up by a cudgel kill on Athena. Currently we are 3 for 1 because Herc has also gone down in this fight. And realizing Anher is out of position and my jump is ready, I'm going to force his jump out before jumping on top of him, dropping Odin's shout to give us increased attack speed and taking him out. You'll notice all 5 of our members are grouped up over here, and there was definitely a possibility for a Gold Fury, but instead I want to take the enemy team's speed buff for the second time this match, really keeping Bastet out of the game. Ra is going to help push up the mid lane, which is in dire need of it. And Agni is going to take a kill on Bastet on the left hand side. I believe that makes it a 5 for 0. Sorry, a 5 for 1 because Agni did die earlier. Again, Agni needs to learn to farm his mid lane slightly more proficiently, but in this position, a gank is certainly on, even at my health. Hebo is not going to be able to touch me with my passive protections, but I do use Gunya's Might to clear the creeps, and Hebo is able to move in and do an absolute ton of damage to the Agni. But following the Ring of Spears, Hebo is no more. He uses Crushing Wave to try and deal the damage he needs. His best opportunity at that point would have just been to fight me, try and force me down with a couple of basics, make it very bad for me to attack him in front of his creeps. I try and take these left side mid camps, but I realize Bastet is here. Despite my level advantage on her, I really just have to bat from this position. This is what's going on between Ra and Herc. You can see Ra's heal and poke. It just makes it impossible for Herc to clear. He gets bullied back. Unfortunately, Ra does miss his ult here. Now, Bastet really should retreat at this point. Our team has every right to kill her from what she's done. Bastet does have a very good escape mechanism, though, and there's no point chasing that. Sun Wukong is in a 2v1 situation here, but again, because of his higher clear and damage, he is able to hold that situation better than most support tanks. So he gets away completely scot-free. Just a little side note as I actually poke down the Hebo. I don't really want to take too many tower hits, but yes, we could have gone and got rid of that. We could have killed Hebo there. Pity he missed his meteor. The reason why I'm actually changing it to this style of commentary and gameplay, Anher just fell on this left-hand side, is basically just because I don't like my transitions and cuts, and I'd rather show all the gameplay in a more analytical and informative manner. You'll notice I rotate in here, but Bastet is behind me. I don't have the vision to know that this isn't really a safe gank for me. I realise, though, as Herc starts to move out of lane in a short while, that clearly his blue is being done, or he wants to do it. And yeah, I taunt him. He got a taunt. Easily pushed up on the duo lane here. The tower is definitely in some trouble if Anher doesn't rotate back in, and even mid lane is now being pushed up despite Hebo being a level still above Agni. And that is bearing in mind, I've been shutting down this Hebo. This is how bad Hebo's farm has been so far. Clever move by our duo lane here to take the enemy team blue. Again, it's denial. Anher is not necessarily the best god with blue, but he certainly would like it. It would definitely help his clear. But Hebo returns to lane, is able to bully Agni out. Agni is, I remember at this point, calling for a gank in mid, but it's kind of his own fault he's got himself so harmed, and I do want my speed buff. It's my favourite buff in the game, and so I will always try and pick it up whenever possible. But Hebo is again out of position. A Gunyar's Might will heavily slow him, but Gunyar's Might is down right now. I use it, and I fall back as soon as I realise the Defender Olympus is coming in, because that could result in a lot of damage. Defender Olympus into the Confound, and then into Crushing Wave could be the end of Odin. But I noticed Wukong coming. Hebo is unable to escape from the Ring of Spears, even as he uses his Yellow River Scroll. The speed is not quite enough, and the ring does cut him off. Again, just harass on solo lane. It's not the most interesting lane to spectate. Duo lane is the epitome of harass. Because he doesn't have the blue buff, Anher's clear is lower than Apollo's, and as such Apollo is able to continuously push against the tower and poke in on it. The surrender vote goes out early, and I mean early. We take the side mid camps again. Athena is currently the one defending the mid camp, but yeah, surrendering at about 11 minutes is first of all incorrect. The enemy team could definitely come back. They're only 3,000 behind. But that is the GG call. You'll notice that I am the highest farmed in the game, followed by Ra, followed by Apollo. So 3 of our gods, actually followed right after by Sun Wukong, 3 of our gods were more farmed than their most farmed. So that is basically the way the cookie crumbles. The victory for the enemy team would have had to come in the late game, and to be perfectly honest, if we take a look at the teams and stats, our late game was just as powerful as theirs. Odin is probably a better late game god than Bastet. Hercules gets extremely tanky, but Hebo is very hit and miss. And Sun Wukong versus Athena, I don't believe there's any comparison. I think Sun Wukong is right now the best support tank in the game. Our team composition was definitely better than theirs, and the Odin jungle is, as I've spoken about in the past, extremely powerful. Because of that, we were able to secure an easy victory in my first game of Silver League.